Welcome back to History Everywhere, the channel that takes you on a journey through the fascinating stories of the past. Today, we delve into the presidency of Ronald Reagan, one of the most iconic figures in American history. While Reagan is often celebrated for his conservative policies and charismatic leadership, his time in office was not without its controversies. Join us as we explore the top 5 controversies of President Ronald Reagan.
Reagan is brilliant at creating a kind of rapport with the country, appealing to its better angels, appealing to the native optimism, which is so much a part of our culture.
Controversy number 1, Iran-Contra affair. In the 1980s, Reagan's administration secretly sold weapons to
Presidential campaign, Reagan promised to assist anti-communist insurgencies around the world.
Iran, despite an arms embargo, in an attempt to secure the release of American hostages held in Lebanon. The profits from these arms sales were then illegally funneled to support anti-Sandinista rebels in Nicaragua, known as the Contras. This scandal rocked the nation and raised questions about Reagan's knowledge and involvement. Controversy number 2, Reaganomics. Reagan's economic policies, known as Reaganomics, aimed to stimulate...
Get out of this.
Well, Johnny, I think that one of the things is that people keep looking to government for the answer, and government's the problem. A moment ago, you asked, about people and feeling not only confused, but low and down in America. First of all, the American people, if they would just take a little inventory and look around, you triple our troubles, and we're better off than any other people on earth. And we've asked so much of government, and we've gotten in the habit over the last 40 years of thinking that government has the answers. There's very little that government can do as efficiently and as economically as the people can do themselves. And if government would shut the doors and sneak away for about 3 weeks, we'd never miss them. Our biggest problem is that we have built a permanent structure of government, federal, state, and local. The permanent employees, and they've come to the place that they actually determine policy in this country more than does the Congress of the United States.
Economic growth through tax cuts, deregulation, and reduced government spending. While his supporters credit these policies with spurring the economy, critics argue that they exacerbated income inequality and led to a widening wealth gap. Reagan's approach to economics remains a subject of intense debate to this day. Controversy number 3, the war on drugs. Under Reagan, the United States saw an aggressive crackdown on drug use through the War on Drugs campaign.
This is crack cocaine. It's as innocent looking as candy, but it's turning our cities into battle zones.
While Reagan's intentions were to combat drug abuse, the policies implemented disproportionately affected minority communities and led to a surge in mass incarceration. Critics argue that this approach failed to address the root causes of drug addiction and instead perpetuated social inequalities. Controversy number 4, Reagan's stance on AIDS. During the 1980s, as the AIDS epidemic spread, President Reagan faced criticism for his perceived lack of action and empathy towards the crisis.
It has been done in New York, and they found that as many as 85% of otherwise healthy gay men showed evidence of imbalance in these tests of the immune system. We suspect from our experience here that we would find a similar finding.
Many felt he was slow to address the epidemic, leading to unnecessary loss of life. Reagan's administration eventually responded, but his initial handling of the AIDS crisis remains a point of contention. Controversy number 5, environmental policies. Reagan's presidency was marked by a push for deregulation, including relaxed environmental regulations.
My fellow Americans, I'd like to talk to you today about our environment. But as I mentioned earlier this week, in doing so, I might be letting you in on a little secret. As a matter of fact, one of the best kept secrets in Washington. More than 15 years ago, the state of California decided that we needed to take action to combat the smog that was choking the beautiful cities of my home state. Out of that concern was born the first serious program to require manufacturers to build cleaner cars and help control air pollution. The auto industry had to build 2 kinds of cars, one that would be for sale in the other 49 states and one that would meet the stiff anti-pollution standards required in California.
Critics argue that his administration's policies weakened environmental protections, leading to increased pollution and damage to ecosystems. Reagan's approach to the environment sparked ongoing debates about the balance between economic growth and environmental conservation. While Ronald Reagan is often remembered as a transformative president who shaped American politics, it is important to recognize the controversies that surrounded his time in office. These controversies continue to spark discussions and shape our understanding of his legacy. That concludes our look at the top 5 controversies of President Ronald Reagan. Don't forget to subscribe to History Everywhere for more captivating stories from the annals of time. Until next time, keep exploring the past. History is everywhere.